That's right. It's going to be an incredible game. We've seen, Bob, these are two teams that we know very well. I've had the pleasure of calling many of Indiana's skaters. I know you've had the pleasure of working with Michigan skaters. And then vice versa. We've also had the pleasure of calling many of the opposite team's skaters. It's just Indiana's been closer to me. Michigan's been home to you for a long time. I'm really excited for this game.
And for those of you that are not familiar with the format of the Mitten Kids tournament, nobody's playing, with the exception of one game we had between Madison Grand Rapids yesterday. These are not games looking to for rankings. This is a single elimination tournament. The winner of this particular game will be the state team champion.
There's a tournament inside a tournament. We are also hosting Division I and Division
come on, now you're hurting my head. I can't think like that just yet. Come on.
I'll get you some coffee at the house.
All right.
Immediately out.
And we're off and running. That's going to be number 76, Will Smith.
Will Smith has had a tremendous amount of effectiveness for Indiana throughout this weekend. I expect the exact same here. Will Smith, formerly made in America. I did not know that. And, of course, now that I've heard it from Coach Danny Mack, I realize, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
All right, Michigan was, they had executed a star pass that went to JG. However, the jam was called off by Will Smith. And we're looking at a 3-0 run in favor of Indiana. This game has just gotten started, so the score is 3-0.
Jesse Fisher who's on the line now.
Terrific.
Absolutely terrific. The number one points getter for Indiana in every game. And this is somebody that Michigan is going to need to shut down early if they want to win this.
And conversely, for Team Michigan, you've got Jawbreaker Jose out there, who has had that same effect for her team as well. Really was probably the driving force in coming back and defeating Team Wisconsin in an excellent game yesterday. All right.
Oh, no. Fisher goes to the penalty box. Right there at the end of the jam. Both these teams, one of the things that I'm curious how this plays out, because throughout the weekend, both these teams have been able to play aggressively, but largely clean.
Yes, no, absolutely. They aren't the kind of teams that bank on hitting the home run. They'll take the 4 points,
right,
and just creep that score up little by little. And as we get started this time around,
you see a lot of this jockeying for position and really solid muscle work from the core coming up, and we're going to see this throughout, because both these teams have the gas to put this kind of effort through the entire game.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. We got Slamwise Gamgee. Slamwise Gamgee for Team Michigan is going to be your lead jammer. Slamwise, one of the MVPs of the previous state game, and the one against Wisconsin. And Slamwise Gamgee, she's got nowhere to go at the moment. Gonna find a little room on the inside, and then gonna hit that 4 wall.
I am interested to see, with the level of aggression and the parity that we have between these two teams, if we're going to see an increase in penalties, because they're going to have to kick it up just that little bit more. That's going to cause, just a little bit more wild movement to get that edge.
Well, and of course, just fueled by adrenaline, because it is the championship game. I think Team Michigan probably always comes in as the favorite. Wisconsin giving them a really good run. That game ends with 15 to 20 points apart. Indiana looking spectacular. Michigan looking spectacular. One thing I'll say about Indiana is they are stacked with amazing jammers.
They really are. However, their top jammer, although not in the box as a jammer right now. Jesse Fisher, second penalty already, being sent to the box as a blocker in this jam.
Yeah, and that's actually been kind of that has been a theme of the weekend. We've seen a number of people fall out of games. Yeah, they're exciting. All right, and standing up there right now is going to be Sassa Thrash for Team Michigan at the jammer line. And we have an official timeout.
We do. Our current score is Michigan sitting at the top with 8, Indiana with 3.
All right, we are rolling again. Or just about rolling. All right, Thrash and Fast looking for a little room to the outside. Will bounce inside, back outside again. Rogue is going to do a nice job of pushing her to the back of the pack.
Whistle's blown and a forearm on Indiana's number 5. That's Trudy Botry.
Roulette Wheels is the jammer for Indiana. Roulette does pinned very effectively by Cookie Crumble and the rest of that wall. I tell you,
wow.
they've got, Michigan has got some very, very experienced blockers.
Another penalty for the 3rd jam in a row on Fisher. We've only had 3 jams. You get 7.
So I think what you're saying is there might be a pattern.
There might be.
Okay, all right.
But keep in mind, as I mentioned before, Fisher is the top scorer,
Yes.
at least this weekend, for Indiana. And if they foul out early, and they're on track to do so, that's going to be a real boon for Michigan. And Michigan doesn't need a boon.
No, like we said before, they really come in as the favorite. And of course, Team Michigan been organized for a long time. They play a number of tournaments. They play together a little more. As far as the state team goes, it's very serious for Team Michigan. They really put a lot into it. All right, and not a lot of movement in this particular jam. We're going to see JG out there for Team Michigan. JG, probably one of the most prolific skaters I've ever had the pleasure of watching for an awfully long time.
It's Will Smith jamming for Indiana, but caught just solidly in the back.
Yeah, that's a terrific job by Dom Sawyer. And number 62, Fracture Mechanics. Fracture Mechanics, big game yesterday as well, blocking. You did a little jam. All right, we're going to have a lead jammer. That is JG. The thing I really like about JG is she's going to come around. She likes to come around slowly, analyze the pack, find a hole, and she's got such quick feet, as we see right there, and foot skills, that she'll spin around backwards, and she just shoots right through there, calls off the jam. Both teams taking a very conservative approach at the moment. And probably one they're going to, I don't think this is going to be a game of big runs. I really don't. I just really feel like it's going to be a very controlled 4 to 8 points at a time.
And right now it doesn't need to be.
No, it doesn't.
Indiana's been contained at just 3 points. Michigan now sits at 15 as they've been steadily adding to that score and denying Indiana any of their own.
All right, they're going to come off the jammer line. We've got number 24 for Indiana. And that's going to be Rita Repulsa. Rita with a nice game yesterday. Rita's going to find some room on the inside. Rita is going to be your lead jammer.
Rita Repulsa, one of the trio of top threats, along with Will Smith and Jenna Fisher for Indiana.
And Roulette Wheels, actually, who played an awful lot.
You're absolutely right.
In the last game that she played.
So Indiana able to double their score there to 6 with those 3 and keeping Michigan for the first time scoring in.
There's a lot of things I appreciate about you, but your ability to do math on the fly
I know
is amazing.
Thank you.
We can't always say that it's accurate, but you say it with a lot of confidence. Announcer math, I believe, is Kool-Aid used to call it.
I can make anything sound correct. Would I sound like this?
Exactly. And we've got Slamwise Gamgee out there one more time for Michigan. This is going to be the second jam for Slamwise. Slamwise, there we go. Slamwise, in other words, she got pushed to the inside coming off the jammer line, then goes back and assesses, and then sees that opening on the outside. And she's going to come up to try to complete a scoring pass here.
Slamwise trying to make a one-skate spin move on the inside of turn one, but unable to stay upright. Big smile, though, coming up off of it.
Yeah, a lot of smiles this weekend. It's been awesome.
I think we're going to continue to see that throughout this. These two teams kind of love some Smash Mouth Derby.
Yeah. Guessing Roulette Wheels has successfully passed that star to Rogue. And Slamwise Gamgee is going to make another scoring pass. And that's going to make it an 8-0 run in favor of Team Michigan. Michigan 23, Indiana 6. We are looking at 20 minutes remaining in the first period.
That was a penalty-less jam. It's the first one that we've seen in, since the beginning of the game.
Well, you know, it's the announcer's curse. I believe you said before this happened, everybody's played really clean.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Nice job.
Yep.
Nice job, pal.
And I believe that number 76, Will Smith.
And Will Smith going to get through that pack very quickly, finding us some space on the inside. There's a good boost for Indiana. And we've got a star pass from the jammer up to number 23, the pivot. That's going to be Mattitude adjustment. And Maddie is going to get knocked out of bounds, going to have to recycle back. In the meantime, that's going to be a scoring pass for Will Smith. Will Smith with a nice spin move into turn two to free herself up.
This is a big opportunity here for Indiana to try to get their skates into this, find a groove that really works for them, a defense and a way to get their jammer through that pack. But holding the opposing jammer at bay like this, especially after just eating 8 points in the previous jam, this is something they need for their psychology as much as they need for their scoreboard.
Yeah, exactly. Will Smith, you can see Will Smith right there stuck in the middle of the pack, and they will get through that. That is going to be another 4-point pass. Let's keep it at pass. All right, Maddie trying to come up with an answer to that 3-wall. Not going to find it at the moment. Number 25 doing a terrific job. That's going to be lickety-split.
James going to end there with another 4, so 12 points, and that is easily the most points scored by Indiana so far, but that does narrow the gap significantly. 23-18, Michigan still leads by 5.
And Will Smith, they will probably run one of the bigger jams of the this entire game for sure. Will Smith has got 12 points up on the board already, and that's going to be the end of the jam. It looks like they're gonna pull 3 more, maybe.
Wow, so 15 points, and we have an official timeout.
Yes, right now it's being scored as 15 points. Michigan 23, Indiana 21. It's interesting because that's very much how the game between Michigan and Team Wisconsin started out. Michigan came out of the blocks pretty hot, and about midway through the first period, Wisconsin was really able to make a run at them.
Yeah.
There was a lot of lead changes in that game.
We did see Sassafrash blocker for Michigan take a trip to the penalty box.
Looks like they're going to put Jawbreaker Jose on the jammer line for Team Michigan. Jawbreaker Jose, the MVP, I believe, at least the MVP of her team in that Team Wisconsin game. Came out really was jamming a lot in the first the first part of the first half. After she had made those runs, they turned around and they started cycling in more of other jammers. Really didn't see Jawbreaker Jose till it got to be about midway through the second period. And that's when they put her back in, and she was really clutch in that victory. Really took the team on her back and was able to snatch the victory from the jaws of defeat. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's correct.
It was close games. It really was kind of like that.
One thing I will say is throughout this weekend, at least from my perspective, we've had some really consistent and solid officiating
Yes.
through every game.
Yes. No, absolutely. The officiating is done well. We know that we have in many cases we have a lesser experienced staff or staff that are working together out there fishing that have not worked together before. But I do have to say that the calling of the game has been really good. A couple extra timeouts we probably didn't always want to have, but other than that, we're fine.
They've erred on the side of thoroughness.
Yes.
And that sometimes leads for extra time and official timeouts, but it has been consistent every time with that.
Yes.
So it seems
that
like the
is very
communication amongst the officials has been stellar.
Jawbreaker Jose has already made the initial pass. Gonna do a nice spin move into turn 3. And nice recycling by the blockers for Team Indiana. Rogue, you can see out at the front, bracing that 3-wall. Jawbreaker Jose with nowhere to go, probably looking for some help, but that help is keeping back the opposing jammer at the moment. And Jawbreaker Jose will not only. Oh no!
Oh, a high block.
This will be a power jam for Team Indiana. And
This is a big opportunity for Indiana in this power jam.
had the jammer status.
High block coming out of the pack.
And you can see right now that that Fisher was stashing star, now has it back on the helmet, and Fisher gonna make some nice. That's a really terrific.
Oh yes, a track cut.
All right, I'm gonna stop complimenting people because it seems to be disaster, and we're gonna see Jawbreaker Jose then, of course, come out of the jammer box.
An opportunity
The penalty
squandered,
box.
unfortunately, and that is the 4th penalty for Jesse Fisher. Bob, we haven't even hit 15 minutes in the first half yet. This is a nightmare situation for Indiana.
All right, Jawbreaker Jose gonna put up 4 more points. And we're still looking with halfway through the first period. We're still looking at a score that's very tight, 27-21 in favor of Team Michigan, as JG is going to take the line for
Starting
Michigan.
off in
It's going to be a power start, not for long.
I will amend, it's not really a nightmare situation. Indiana has a deep roster of talent that can pick up a tremendous amount of points, even if they don't have Fisher. But against Michigan, you don't want to lose a weapon like that. Despite having people you can still rely on.
No, absolutely right. JG looking for some room on the inside. The way she spins those skates, was able to turn her hips, she's unbelievable. Seriously, one of the most fun jammers I ever get to watch. It's always a pleasure to have that opportunity. JG right now going to find some room up the center, and look at that. Yep, sure enough. As you see so many times with JG, going to turn that around backwards, manage with 1 foot tiptoeing the line. Little Walenda in JG, I think. Maybe she, never know. Although, you don't really want to walk that tightrope between like 2 skyscrapers, because that doesn't work very well.
No.
All right, Slamwise Gamgee up at the line for Team Michigan.
And it looks like, oh, that's,
It's Rita Repulsa.
yes, it is.
Rita Repulsa avoiding a last
Rita on her
second
second
hit there
jam.
on the yard, able to clear
Rita doing a nice job. Find some room on the outside. Going to be your lead jammer. Slamwise Gamgee looking for some room on the inside. Going to bounce it out. Indiana doing a terrific job blocking. Boggs doing a nice job of anchoring that front wall.
We did have a star pass from Slamwise Gamgee to Fracture Mechanics up in
Both jammers, well, the pivot, of course, for Michigan on their scoring run, putting that pressure on, but no points for Michigan. 3 more for Indiana, bringing our score 35 to 24. Indiana has come just within a fingertip of taking the lead, but Michigan spread it back out, currently sitting at 11-point
good
spread.
at everything, just great strategically, great skater.
Fracture Mechanics does a terrific job out there blocking, but did get to see some jamming yesterday. Also, of course, a very well-placed pivot as she will receive that helmet cover. And we got Sass and Thrash up against the 2-0 up front. And that is Rogue, who's been a pest all day long. Rogue is just one of those players that seems to always know where to be and does a really nice job of placing sit blocks on the players. All right, Sass and Thrash trying to find some room on the outside. Going to get run off by, I'm sorry, that's Diamond. I'm sorry.
Attitude adjustment has been making some very key blocks out there. Floating around in the middle. And another, oh wow, that's tough. So that was Flannery O'Clobber going to the penalty box. But Flannery O'Clobber just came back from the penalty box. I believe that's O'Clobber's 3rd penalty.
All right, Sass and Thrash was able to stretch the defense up beyond the zone of engagement. They had to let her go. Sass and Thrash. All right, lead jammer. She gets into that compression chamber, and turn number 3 is going to call that jam off. And once again, this is going to be a 2-point run, 2-0 for Michigan against Indiana. Michigan 37, Indiana 24. We've got just a little over 11 minutes left in this, the first period of the state team championship game.
You know, it seems like Indiana's finding little holes to pick apart in Michigan's formations, and they're finding ways to exploit that and stay in this game, even make games. But they're doing so at the expense of penalties, and because of that, they're losing power in the pack. They're losing points on the board. They've got to figure out a way to exploit while staying clean.
Yes, no, that's a very great point. Yeah, definitely a lot of rotation in and out of the penalty box for Team Indiana. And as you say, defense has been strong enough that even down a blocker, or even without a jammer, they've been able to hold Michigan pretty tight. Like we alluded to in the very beginning of this broadcast, we felt that it was going to be a game that was going to be a lot of 4-point passes and calling off the jam. And that's exactly what it's been. It's very smart roller. And of course, especially when it's a tight game, there's no reason to try to hit the home run.
Michigan is leading by 13, but the most points scored in any one jam was by Indiana.
Yes. All right, and whistle's going to blow right here. Back up towards the jammer line. You can see Dom Sawyer doing a nice job of anchoring the 3 wall that's up front. A lot of support from Jesse.
It's a very fast reactionary tripod too by Michigan.
Yeah, Fracture Mechanics always a big part of what's going on defensively as well. And it's going to be, I believe that's JG out there for Michigan. And yeah, nothing is moving right now. Nice work. You know, once in a while it's just one of those deals where you give him a little push.
Yep. Dom Sawyer has been doing an incredible job coming up, assisting the tripod, and then falling back to really play one-on-one coverage and work the pack.
All right, JG going to be held up in the midst of that pack. Don't see JG get stood up very often. But she does a nice job of creating some space and some separation, so she's got something to work with. And Team Michigan, JG is going to be through. She's going to be the lead jammer. There's a lot of time and energy expended just to get to that point.
And you can see JG appears as though they've really expended a lot of energy trying to get through there.
And Will Smith's going to hit the pack, but they will not score any points.
We're going to call it after
All those players just went through a battle, and a battle that ended up extending Michigan's lead, as Michigan is 41, Indiana sits at 24.
Oh, come on, there's only more than that. And if there is only a few, you cheer louder. Who's here for Team Indiana?
I don't feel like I know where this is going, but who's here to cheer
Get started
on
this
Team
time around.
Michigan? Might be a slight home crowd event.
House announcers polling the audience, and there is a huge contingent here for Team Michigan.
As one would expect. And we're going to see Jawbreaker Jose get through the pack. Jawbreaker Jose will be your lead jammer. Awfully nice job up front for Indiana by Trudy Botchery, who's done a nice job of just plugging up that hole. And the hole in the blocking.
We are broadcasting out of the Lansing Center here in Lansing, Michigan, which has been very nice hosts for us.
Terrific place for a tournament. I'm excited that there's going to be more tournament action here. So convenient. Hotels are close. Restaurants are close. Right downtown. You can't beat it. You really can't beat it.
So we'll come up with another signal and we'll call it good.
Yeah, exactly.
Robert Jose is blocked.
Pivot for Indiana, sitting in the penalty box.
Little bit of a shirt whip.
Jose getting a shirt whip from Javelin, landing a nice hit on Jesse Fisher.
And Jawbreaker Jose
Gonna
going to say hello.
Although for this, we do see a fairly substantial gain here. 8
Jammers
points
come.
on the board,
As
14
she
Michigan.
and Fisher
Almost
a little
overcoming the score.
hello greeting bump. And with that jam's going to be called off. It's an 8-0 run in favor of Michigan. Michigan starting to open this thing up. We were within 6-7 points. Teams were within 6-7 points of each other just about 3-4 minutes ago.
And Michigan's in a great position too, because even though Indiana is able to at times pick apart the defense, is at times able to make giant cuts into that lead, Michigan can just continue to do the same and remain calm, and that will keep them ahead in the points and will ultimately win them the game, unless Indiana is able to do something else.
Slamwise Gamgee going to have earned lead jammer. Might get a couple of points out of this. Yes. Going to pull, I believe, 3 points that is out of this.
Rita Repulsa unable to pick up any points, although was at the back of the pack by the time the whistles were blown.
No, I mean, obviously this game is still close, but yeah, you know, when you see a game that is fought chip by chip, you start to realize that 25, 30 points out, if your opponent stays out of foul trouble, is going to be work.
Right, and a 25, 30 point lead in a game like this is huge.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're not likely to get a 20-point jam.
Probably not. Defenses are way too stout. And Roulette Wheel. Roulette Wheel's going to come up into the pack. Roulette Wheels is your lead jammer. Going to spin the hips around the outside. And nice job. Going to find a way to slip by the front wall of Michigan.
Now this was
Too blocky that she was able to get around. You know the fun thing about this weekend is I've seen so many assists this weekend.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of uniform whips. I've seen whips. I've seen, you know, a lot of blocking where they are assisting their own blockers, pushing them into position, sometimes using them as a battering ram to hammer people outside. And that's actually pretty refreshing. I don't feel like that is something that I've seen all that commonly.
Well, there's a synergy, especially with players at this level, where they just understand that
Will Smith does a little hop around Don
that's
Sawyer.
happening. You know, there is a almost like they're already in each other's minds.
All right, Will Smith's got lead jam. Will Smith will come up on a scoring pass. JG is out and in the clear for Team Michigan. JG really, JG, as JG,
Oh, wow.
cut the track that time.
No,
No,
is it?
forearm?
Yeah, I think it's a forearm. Yep, forearm penalty on JG.
Forearms, you know, hard is by a sweat.
He only has two. How's he get called on forearm?
But Will Smith's going to call
All right, Will Smith's going to call this off. Indiana will take 3 points out of that. They are now down by 21 points, 4:30 remaining. Michigan over Indiana. Period 1 of the state team championship game here at the Mitten Kitten mashup, number 10.
Now, one thing, we're going to get a team timeout here. Indiana needs something big in these last 4 minutes. They need to be able to go to the locker room, making an impression upon the scoreboard and an impression upon Michigan. If they go to the locker room the way it is right now, without something to give them a big breath of fresh air, it's going to be a lot harder in the second half.
And this is definitely a jam where they have an opportunity to do that. It's going to start out with a power start. Both teams are equal otherwise.
We did have a major pack advantage that helped out Indiana in the previous jam. And so what we may start to see is that aggressive play, maybe it's starting to get under the skin a little bit of Michigan, and they need to kind of settle back down and realize, no, they need to play the game that they've been playing, and it's fine. They don't have to match the aggression that Indiana is. If Indiana gets under their skin and makes them play more aggressively and causes Michigan to send a lot of players to the penalty box, that could lead to Indiana's favor tremendously.
Yep, absolutely. All right, this jam's going to get started. As we said before, it's a power start for Team Indiana. And Indiana is going to field Rita Repulsa. And Rita's going to find some room on the end. No! Every time I say that.
That was track out. I don't know.
Well, we can just say that from here it was obviously close. All right, Rita Repulsa going to end up in the penalty box, which is going to release JG. JG right now trying to fight through that front wall. And as JG does, able to just kind of spin and dart through daylight. And JG's going to be your lead jammer. So,
Times like this, I wish we had an instant replay
I know.
to be able to look at that, because that looked like it was still inside. Rita Repulsa has done an amazing job this weekend holding that line.
JG is a human highlight. There's no question about that when it comes to skating. All right, Rita Repulsa trying to fight through that front block of the pivot. Nicely done for Team Michigan. And that is actually Jawbreaker Jose up there, who is an incredible double threat.
You ever have those moments mid-ball when you're like,
And of course, they like to have her pivot because it's a perfect person to pass off to. JG going to call off that jam. Michigan took what was a disadvantaged start to this jam and ran up an 8-0 run on Team Indiana. I tell you, it's been so much fun. Like we've had an opportunity to spend time with Danny Mack this weekend. Gosh, we haven't seen each other. You know, the three of us, the six of us, or whatever it is, haven't seen each other in probably 5 years. It's great to talk to Danny. And I tell you, if you talk to Danny or you talk to his team, the one thing that always comes up, doesn't matter who it is, they mention the fact that they are having so much fun, that the team has a very, the morale is very strong. They're having a really positive experience. You know, I really, it sounds like the best experience that a lot of these players and Danny have ever had in this situation. And we're going to see Rolette Wheels take the star.
You know, and you and I both know Coach Danny Mac for a very long time. And what's amazing is he still has the same enthusiasm about the game today as he did back when I first met him.
Yeah, and Danny though, but Danny very composed.
Yes,
Yeah, he's always very composed.
meek even.
You know, not one to throw arms up in the air, kick and scream. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, it can be entertaining to have a more animated coach, but
Yeah.
I'm curious if a more composed coach helps the team become more composed as
No,
well.
I don't think there's any question about that. All right, this is going to be one of the first rotations we're going to see for Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead doing a nice job of the 3-wall up front. In the meantime, we're going to have Jawbreaker Jose is going to be out there as Jammer.
Oh, wow.
Fisher, is that Fisher again?
No,
Oh, that was
no,
Will
that was
Smith.
Will Smith. Will Smith going to the penalty box.
Yeah, Indiana really killing themselves on penalties. You know, and you know the thing that's interesting though too is that this is really how Team Michigan defeated Wisconsin as well. Just got to a point where the intensity was so high. I think, you know, I don't want to say frustration, but just, you know, trying to match that intensity. Team Wisconsin got into some foul trouble at the end of that game. And that's a very similar look here.
This is the exact opposite of what I was suggesting Indiana needed to spend their last 4 minutes
Yeah.
with, because the score is only spread. It's now over a 30-point lead, and
they know each other's dynamic pretty well.
it could end in a 40-point spread
But
at the end of this jam.
Diamond and I believe it's
Game within reach, certainly, but you're going to have to start looking for the home runs.
covering
There
that
we
No,
go.
absolutely. We got 30 seconds, just under 30 seconds left in this jam, and
great track awareness there.
Nice job up front by Shaun of the Dead.
improper pass prevents the full 4, but still 3 more is 3 more that Indiana's going to try to have to overcome. 70-31 with a 39-point difference at the half.
That's right. So remember, boys and girls, go ahead, call your mom, call grandma, take the pet hamster for a walk, make a pizza, grab a beer. Hey, if you don't want a beer, grab a soda, but be back in 10 minutes.
6. I'm like, okay, 5, 6. Okay, 5, 6.
everybody. This is the championship, the state team championship game between Michigan and Indiana. We are at the Mitten Kittens mashup number 10 in Lansing, Michigan, at the Lansing Center. And this is Bob Noxious sitting alongside Lyle, late night Lyle. What's going on, buddy?
Well, Bob, you know, it's just been such a pleasure being able to call with you after so many years. It's been a long time, but this has been a really interesting first half, and we're already seeing another one of Indiana's players go to the penalty box. And that's a story that is really going to play out. Elsie Hammer getting a penalty. That's Hammer's first one, but unfortunately not the first one for the Jammer. A power jam now for Michigan. They didn't need it. I'm looking forward to getting the opportunity to tell the story.
It's definitely been a difference maker. Indiana just having a harder time staying out of the penalty box. And you see JG out there for Michigan. JG has now put up, she's had 2 passes, going to be 8 points. And he's going to look to find a little more. That was a nice job right there. That's 168. Shauna the Dead with a nice hip swing in the block.
I want to remind everybody that this game is brought to you by Roller Bones. Roller Bones, the only bones you want on the outside of your feet.
Absolutely. I tell you, I think you got to sell them that copy.
I know.
All right. JG going to come up on the back of the pack. We see Shauna the Dead, as we complimented before, all but ended up with a penalty. Shauna the Dead now sitting down. It's blocker, the numbers, that's what I'm trying to say, and I'm struggling. The numbers are definitely in favor of Team Michigan, as they're going to start with a full team, and Indiana's going to field their team with 4 people. Going to be 1 blocker down.
Yeah, and this has been the story of the first half. Not only has Michigan been more consistent, but it's been a tale of penalties. In the first half, Michigan picked up 7 total penalties. Indiana, 16, including 2 players with 4 penalties each. One of their heavy hitters picking up a penalty in each of the first 3 jams.
Yeah, absolutely. They do have a couple of players that are in penalty trouble, and in the meantime, we've got Jose Jawbreaker. Jose Jawbreaker out there. She got lead jam. Jose Jawbreaker going to pull another. We're going to see how many points they're going to put up here. It looks like it's going to be 4. That's the Michigan stretches his lead from 88 to 31, and we are at 27 minutes left. This has not been a game of big runs. This has not been a game of 12-point jams, 16-point jams. This has been a game of 4 and out. A lot of I guess what I'm trying to say is, even though that is not an unsurmountable spread up on the scoreboard at the moment, it's going to be a difficult one to chip away at, as we do not have teams hitting the home runs out there with the big jams. Defenses are just that good.
We've only seen 1 big jam. We saw a 15-point jam in the first half, and that was by Indiana. But it's really been Michigan's game, putting down that pattern, that pace that Indiana has been trying to disrupt and just hasn't quite been able to, at least not cleanly.
All right, Roulette Wheels going to find a little space on the inside of turn 1. Going to put up 4 points, and you can see Gamgee out there right there trying to work through the pack. Going to get recycled back. In the meantime, this is a chance for Hot Wheels to try to put up yet another 4 points.
Trudy Botchery comes back in. Blocker for Indiana. That was Trudy's 4th infraction as well, putting 3 players at 4 penalties.
Right now, I think Hot Wheels is really tired of seeing the cookie crumble.
As I say 4th, Trudy picks up the 5th. Goes right back to the penalty box.
Kiki Rumble with the back of her jersey all over roulette wheels. And of course, that's what you expect from somebody who's a tenured veteran. It's nice to see Cookie in the game. Got a lot of veterans here this weekend. Seen Racer McChaser around, Javelin around. A lot of OG skaters, which is always fun. You see Diamond up there doing a heck of a job.
Diamond's tough, gets too far ahead though. Not going to pick up a penalty there at the end, which is nice, but
you know the thing that becomes pretty apparent is like both Diamond and Rogue have this incredible ability to leverage people and stand them up. Just kind of get that shoulder down in the gut, stick the toe stops down into the track, and well, Indiana's dancing.
We're going to have an official timeout. Jenna Fisher is on the line to try to make some sort of headway into the score of this, but 92-38. Indiana did have the advantage on that last jam, 7 points over Michigan's 4.
Yeah, and as we said before, the defense is so good. You're not going to run not going to hit a lot of home runs. There's going to be a lot of singles in this one.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's hard to get any runs from the penalty box.
Yes. All right. As long as we have a moment here, let's thank our officials, our non-skating officials. We have Quick Grayson, Slim Fast, Rex Blocker, Slaya, Guillotini, the Kraken, Hello Kitty, Big Tails, and Rainbow Crash. And the skating officials today, we have Guinness, Johnny Demonic, Queen Helsa, Kicks Rocks, Lolo, and Painsley Slays. I tell you, all the officials have really earned their keep this weekend. A lot of the skating officials have worked so many games. It's just probably working 3-4 games a day at times.
Oh, they really are, if not more.
Yeah, that could be a conservative estimate.
Our sponsor, Roller Bones, is donating an amazing set of wheels to the most valuable player. These are some of the coolest wheels I've seen, these turbos.
They are black with sport rims.
Yes, it makes me want to put skates back on.
Yeah? It makes me want to get really nice tires for my car. All right.
That would be safer for me, certainly, because I am not safe on skates.
Yeah.
Jam line now looks like Sassafras for Team Michigan versus
And you see we have
Jesse Fisher.
quite the scrum going on. It looks like Fisher is going to get stuck behind that far wall, and there you go, Sassafras. Very nice job. Being able to get herself sideways and get past that final block.
Yeah.
From Tear 'em Up.
And Tear 'em Up almost getting a penalty, but slows down to avoid that hit way too far in front of the back.
Three Wall doing a nice job. You can see Rogue out there one more time. But they're gonna push outside the zone of engagement. They're gonna have to let her go.
And
We've got both Rogue and Lickety Splint that have been sent to the penalty box.
I think that's Spinelli
Oh, I'm sorry.
and Rogue.
Yes. We're gonna see a new jammer. We're gonna see a new jammer in there with Boggs for Indiana. In the meantime, Sassafras gonna find some room on the inside turn, put some points up on the board.
Ophelia Plenty, blocker for Michigan. Makes their first trip to the penalty box. And joined by another. That's Strega. Second penalty.
All right, and that jam's going to come to an end. It's going to be well, going to put 4 more points up from there, but looks like it's going to be a 16-1 run in favor of Michigan. Score really starting to open up at this point. It's 108 Michigan, and Indiana, take that back. They're going to give them 3 points. Indiana's going to have 41, and we are at 22 minutes remaining in the second period.
That's an interesting story, that jam. 'Cause that's the most points that Michigan has put on the board in one jam.
All right, we got. They're going to try. They're going to keep trying. It looks like Indiana's going to keep trying to do things a little different. They put Boggs in the last jam. We've got Diamond in. He's been a prolific blocker all day long. They're going to give her the opportunity to jam here, and. All right.
Star pass to the pivot, but the jam is going to end there.
Yeah, and that's a smart move. Star pass to the pivot. You're not going to get lead jam as the pivot comes out.
Yeah, but it puts pressure on that, on the opposition to keep them from scoring much or anything in this case.
Yeah, in that situation, it was
Well,
let's
4
just
points.
prevent the points, but that's a nice 4-0 run for Indiana.
Looks like that is Rita Repulsa for Team Indiana. And I'm going to guess by the stature, Jawbreaker Jose for Team Michigan.
Right, you are confirmed. Swat movement within the pack right there. They have lost the
Oh, a forearm is going to cause a power jam for Michigan again. Oh, but it switches. A forearm by Michigan.
Yep.
Both jammers.
Yep. Indiana's jammer is going to come back in. Michigan's going to be released pretty quickly. Indiana's jammer did not sit very long. And Indiana's jammer is number 24. Of course, that is Rita Repulsa.
Michigan's jammer, who is now back into the thick of things, is Jawbreaker Jose. Or Josie. Probably Jawbreaker Josie.
All right, Jawbreaker going to try and complete a star pass. Is able to do so. That's going to go to number 62, the pivot, Jesse. No, I'm sorry, Team Michigan. That's Fracture Mechanics.
Rita Repulsa does have, or had, almost a full track advantage, but that has been completely eaten up as Repulsa had to recycle back to the back.
Fracture Mechanics trying to get through that 3-wall up front. Rogue.
Multiplayer block called on.
Yeah, it's going to be Spinelli.
Yep.
Fracture Mechanics going to find some room on the inside, put some points up on the board. That's going to be the end of the jam. And officials are going to tell us that that was an 8-4 run in favor of Michigan. Michigan now 116, Indiana at 49. We have 18 minutes to go. And it's going to be interesting to see if Indiana pulls a couple of surprises on us. They're just trying to take, well, I think they're already doing that. They're rotating in some new jammers. Probably looking just to find some chemistry here going into the end of the game.
And they seem to be rotating new people into the penalty box.
Shaun of the Dead, yeah.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead going to take a seat.
It's actually Shauna's third trip, but going to be joined by a blocker.
Yeah, Cookie Rumble. Cookie's had a very clean game. Cookie Rumble going to sit down for her second time. And then we have Gamgee. Slamwise Gamgee is your lead jammer. You've got 4 points on the board already. And at this point, you know, at this point, it's really in Michigan's advantage to just do this and do it at a leisurely pace.
You're absolutely right. It is their game. They have no reason to risk anything at this point.
That's right. Once in a while, the clock becomes the sixth person.
Yeah, with 17 minutes left in the game and a score of 123 to 49. It's we're gonna need a montage.
All right, that's gonna be number 16 for. Is that right? 16?
Nope, it's 76. That is Will Smith.
All right, yeah, that's Will Smith. Will Smith there, nice move. Have a nice apex jump. There we go. Gonna go directly at the other jammer.
Nice tiptoe on the inside of turn 2 for those 4.
Of course, it may favor Indiana at this point to try to be a little more aggressive. It looks like that might be what they are doing. We're going to see multiple passes.
And this is wise too, allowing the jammer, the pivot, that was being held up by the pack, but made it through without issue that time.
Oh my gosh. Will Smith, nice spin move down in the inside of turn number 1. And they are still letting it run. And I tell you, 41 out there for Michigan has had a really, really nice run here. Making it look rather easy, actually.
Without a doubt. Now, almost landing that, but going to go ahead and call it off there. No more points. Well, no, 3 more points at the end of that. Oddly, no one sent to the penalty box in that jam.
Wow. Looks like that. I'm sorry, 41. Looks like that was Sonic Boom. And in my defense, dyslexia came in. Listed on the rosters as 14.
Indiana with 20 or 23 points in that. It looks like 3 they've been taken away there at the end. But both teams picking up a lot of points. 135 to 69.
It's a nice. Yeah, that was what Team Indiana needed. Gosh, look at that. That blocking. The blocking that Michigan lays on you is, you know, not only is it, obviously it's very effective, but it's exhausting.
It really is. Oh, wow.
Another nice job by Cookie Rumble.
Who picks up a forearm.
All right.
It's JG jammer for Michigan, giving up a power jam.
See Javelin is rotate up front. We got Boggs out there for Indiana.
Rita Repulsa finally finds their way through. And
Oh, no. That has been the penalty du jour of the tournament. Has been forearms for sure. That's going to release JG. JG going to come back out on the track. Cookie Rumble going to run some interference, as is Javelin. There's a whole lot of years of roller derby in those first 3 or 4 Michigan skaters out there right now.
And you know, this is something I was mentioning earlier about the officiating. Even though there's been some maybe quick calls, maybe some things that should have been let them fight, so to speak. Another forearm being called as 2 of Indiana's blockers hit the penalty box. It has been even.
Yep.
They've been equally divvying out. So if they are quickly calling forearms they are doing so equally on both sides, and as long as that's the case,
No, one thing we can say about the officiating has been very consistent, and,
Yes.
and we were talking about that even before the game had started. How impressed we were with the fact that if they're calling penalties, they're doing it on a consistent basis. It's been the same all weekend long, and considering, honestly, I can't even begin to imagine how the physical toll, you end up taking when you're skating, officiating that many games, and still have to keep the mental acuity to get things right. That's way outside of my league of talents.
yeah.
I was going to speak, but I don't know if that was, doesn't look like the ending was up for the timeout. Okay, I don't know where that was came from. I was going to say,
We have Indiana taking a team timeout. That's Indiana's second team timeout. Michigan is down 1.
we are currently at the state game, clearly, Team Michigan, Team Indiana. But after
Score is 138 to 69 with 12:45 remaining. That, of course, is in favor of Michigan.
I believe that's the technical
Michigan will also be starting this off in a major pack advantage with 2 of Indiana's blockers sitting in the penalty box.
I had a little bit of a preview on this one. Great Lakes roller derby
Indiana has done a very good job,
a few weeks ago.
despite giving up a lot of penalties in the first half, making sure that people in penalty trouble
Yeah.
don't foul out.
some of those leaders
And there we see Jobber Jose one more time. Going to find no resistance on the outside line off the jammer line. Going to be your lead jammer. We've got Roulette Wheels trying to work her way through the pack, trying to get by Fracture Mechanics. That is not an easy thing to do. And that's a nice job right there. To put 4 points up on the board.
We want to watch out for someone who has been a heavy hitter in that wall for Indiana, Trudy Botry, coming out of the penalty box, but that was Trudy's 6th penalty.
And you see, oh, no, we got a nice star pass. There you go. That's going to go to Rogue. Rogue is going to scoot by. Has free track in front of her at this point.
Jime's going to end there before Rogue can pick up any points, though, so 4 more for Michigan.
But no points given.
And it looks like Wisconsin and Ohio are in their constellation game right now.
8 points.
Looks like, you can read it from here, it's about a 50-point differential in favor of Wisconsin. It looks like there's maybe 5 minutes left.
52 points separates the 2 teams. Ohio 126, Michigan 178. Or Wisconsin, excuse me.
Yep, that's all right.
I cannot see right now,
Slamwise Gamgee
but it looks to me like that is Will
out there
Smith.
again for Michigan. Slamwise Gamgee, one of the MVPs of the earlier state game. And Slamwise Gamgee going to easily get herself into a lead jam situation. Number 76, of course, is going to be Will Smith.
Whistle blown, a high block, I believe, called on Indiana's pivot, Spinelli.
And Michigan will call that jam off. And that's going to be 2-0 run. 10:34 remaining. The score keeps creeping a little bit higher and higher for Michigan as Michigan sits at 148. Indiana's at 69.
Oh, no. Right there at the end, lickety split. Takes another brick out of the wall. That was Splint's first penalty, but a major pack advantage now again for Michigan.
All right, Tessa Thrash trying to work herself past Boggs. Both teams with excellent blocking. And Tessa Thrash is going to be your lead jammer.
And we see, once again, Dom Sawyer really working both sides, the front and back, consistently.
That wall consists of Boggs, Libby, Flint, Spinelli,
helping that jammer out.
All right, Satharash going to with 4 blockers in front of her. She says, "Yeah, I'm gonna stop for now. Gonna call off the jam. Of course, clock still runs. We're at just a little over 9 minutes, and lead for Michigan sits at over 80 points at this point. Looks like JG's going to line up one more time for Michigan. Of course, then, the other thing you have to say, too, is, man, so many of these players played so many games this weekend.
That's true.
It's amazing to me, the level of fitness and athleticism. And there's JG.
I got a little winded just coming here to the table.
Yeah, the 3 blocks we had to walk, that was pretty difficult.
Pivot. Rita Repulsa with the stripe on her head. Hits the penalty box. 4th penalty for Rita.
And Diamond, nice job right there. Way to use the foot. Way to use the footwork spin move. I have to say that I'm really disappointed when I wake up on days like this, and for some reason talking is hard. You've got one job to do, Bob. One job.
Sometimes it's tough just to remember to talk when you're just enjoying the Derby in front of you.
Yeah. Well, especially in the early days when everybody got started, I think we were all guilty of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just in awe of some of the athleticism and like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be talking.
Jose Jawbreaker going to find some room on the outside. But picks up a forearm penalty.
Yep. So Jawbreaker coming out of the pack and right to the penalty box. Oh, that's
going to be a high block, I
yeah,
believe,
I think so.
on roulette wheels. So that's going to release Jawbreaker Jose.
Roulette wheels did end up going to the penalty box, so Jawbreaker Jose was released. This will be a short-lived power
And
jam.
we've seen this a few times now where Michigan has kind of given Indiana a gift, given them a power jam, and they've squandered it. They'll throw a penalty of their own in there. And
all right, roulette wheels trying to get through. Almost a pancake block there.
Rita Repulsa looking for a high block, and we have got a player down.
We got the EMP pulled out there.
From our vantage point, we cannot tell who the Michigan player is, but there's a Michigan player down in turn number 3. And it looks like it's going to be Jar.
And unfortunately, my vantage point is completely obscured. Of course, we will have an update for you as soon as we get one. Bob, this has been a little bit unexpected for me. Is this what you expected? Because you mentioned a few times that Michigan's coming into this as the favorite, and it is usually the favorite. Did you think that we would see this kind of spread here?
No, I didn't. I thought it was going to be. I thought Indiana would give them the same kind of pressure that Wisconsin did. We're not going to beat a dead horse with this, but obviously it's just penalties have just been the biggest decider in the score that we're looking at right now. Penalties are always a factor for every game, every team, but it's very lopsided.
It is very lopsided. However, and crowd cheering as Michigan's player standing up. No skates are coming off.
Yeah, terrific
And
news.
skating under their own, a little hard given towards Indiana. You'd love to see that. It is Jar. So Jar will sit for 3 jams.
All right, we got 6:25 remaining. We're now looks like we're in. No, okay, we were in a timeout. We are no longer, and that's going to be Slamwise Gamgee.
Penalties have definitely been part of the story, but I don't know that that has been the cause of this points disparity.
But
'Cause
it's legal. No, no penalty box.
All right, Slamwise Gamgee going to look for a little, trying to find some room past Diamond and Rogue.
Will Smith able to get out and be the lead jammer.
No, I definitely think that part of it has been more consistent, maybe offensive blocking for Michigan. Will Smith going to put up 4 points. All right, Slamwise Gamgee got the star in hand.
Star stash.
Gonna put it back on the head.
In for a second scoring pass. Going up that inside with a mini jump.
I believe,
4 points.
oh wow, a pair of blockers hits the penalty box.
And we've got
Goldie Braun and I believe Diamond.
Oh, no, that's Diamond right there. Just saying, saying
Oh, yeah, that
hello
is.
to Slamwise Gamgee.
That is Diamond, right?
Hi,
Up
I'm
front.
Diamond. Nice to meet you.
It was Rogue was the other one.
And Will Smith going to find a little room on the inside of turn 2. Going to scoot through. A nice open, nice pick that was set by the blocker. And there, Danny Mack is going to say, call off the jam.
Indiana still able to pick up 3 on that. Or Michigan able to pick up 3.
That's going to be a 12-3 run in favor of Indiana. Score is now 163 to 81. Michigan having doubled up Indiana. We've got 4 minutes remaining.
Of course, we haven't mentioned in a while, Indiana in the black, Michigan in the white with pink and blue stripes. Oh, lots of whistles blowing as Flannery O'Clobber picks up their 5th.
And there we have a nice jammer race. I should have put a little speed in there. And that looks like it was Sonic Boom.
And unfortunately, Sonic Boom unable to score a point on that pass. Rito Repulsa says, I'm not trying to
Sonic Boom against Rita Repulsa.
even if it's just 1-0, 1 point is 1 point.
When the whistle is blown to start this next jam, there'll be 3 minutes left to play as we start jam number 17 of the second half.
Now. Looks like we got Jawbreaker Jose back there, I believe. Yep, along with Roulette Wheels.
Jawbreaker Jose trying to find that inside line, but it's going to be Sean with the focus on the
Wow.
But then again, Sean with
Both teams looking for a little space, trying to get away from the respective 3 walls.
nice little mix up right here, but again, Sean with that
Look at Splint
Jawbreaker
taking a hard shot to the face, but maintaining that.
nice track awareness there by
And Jawbreaker's going to scoop by Shaun of the Dead. That was a hard-fought battle. Wanted some one-on-one blocking.
Only had to go on behind Sean.
And nice little apex skip as the Stars went past to Roulette Wheels.
Really was an amazing job there by the jammer from Michigan. And quite a bit of appreciation from the crowd as well.
And with how these games are going, this could be our last
We're under 2 minutes, Bob.
We certainly are. This is the championship game. And it's winding down very quickly. Michigan is, I think it's safe to say Michigan's got this game in hand. It's 167 to 82 with 139 left to go.
We're going to find out who's going to get these amazing turbo wheels from Rollerbones, our sponsor. Rollerbones. The only bones you want on the outside of your feet. I'm going to continue using that tagline.
Yeah, I like it.
Because I like it.
As of right now, on the general line, 14 Michigan. I see we are getting trapped in the panic.
Once again, we want to say thank you to Lansing Roller Derby. We want to say thank you to AK 40 Ounce and his crew. This tournament has been so much fun. It's been so well run. And it's, and these things are obviously, if you've ever been involved with tournament planning, it's a huge undertaking. And so thanks to everyone involved.
To the city of Lansing. Beautiful city.
Oh, yeah. No, like I said earlier in the game, it's like you could not ask for a better situation from a host city. All the hotels are basically right across the street. We got restaurants, places to go out. Everything is right here. It's all within walking distance. We drove in, parked our cars, and we've not been to them since.
That's true. There's a ton of places just within walking distance to enjoy yourself here in Lansing, and we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. I've even teared up a little bit just at the warmth and the welcome from people I haven't seen in a long time and people who have just kind of made it very easy to come in.
That's right. A lot of new faces, a lot of new friends. We see Sass the Thrash out there one-on-one against Diamond. And Sass the Thrash will end up winning that battle. And we've got 49 seconds left in the period. And Sass the Thrash just needs to keep the feet moving at this point, let the clock run down, and that will be that. Diamond, who's been handed the hell, I mean, how hard is she working right now?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no quit. There's no quit in any of these players. And it looks like Rogue's going to go down hard in the backstretch. Sass the Thrash just trying to push through that two wall. Time's going to come to an end. She's going to call the jam. And ladies and gentlemen, Michigan is your Mitten Kittens, Mitten Kitten number 10 state team champs.
Michigan came in with a game plan. They stuck to that game plan. They did not let Indiana get under their skin and rattle them. They had a couple of big jams, but for the most part, as you mentioned several times, just put down consistent 4 points here and there, and that's where we get our score, 170 to 82, the final score.
That's right. We're going to turn it back over to our house announcers. We're going to announce a jam MVP as well as a game MVP. This is Bob Noxious sitting alongside Late Night Lyle. We will bid you adieu. We'll see you next time.